It is a crisp Tuesday morning in late 2026. You are standing in the familiar queue at the local grocery store, the same one you have frequented for a decade. Your cart is heavy with bread, milk, and eggs, the standard provisions for the week ahead. Around you, the air is quiet, filled only with the rhythmic hum of the refrigeration units and the soft shuffling of feet on linoleum. You reach the front of the line. The cashier does not look for cash, nor do they reach for a card reader. Instead, they gesture toward a sleek, pulsating sensor embedded directly into the counter. The customer ahead of you does not even break their stride. They simply fix their gaze upon the sensor for a fraction of a second. A soft, clean ping echoes through the aisle. The transaction is complete. The next person follows suit, hovering a hand over the glass. Another ping. Another seamless exit. The system is silent, efficient, and absolute. You step forward, your cartwheels clicking against the floor tiles. You place your items on the belt, feeling the weight of the sensor's glow against your skin. You step forward, a faint sense of unease stirring within you. The screen, which moments ago glowed with effortless efficiency, abruptly flashes an ominous red. The light pulses against your face, harsh and unforgiving. Identity not found, it blares. Verification required. A knot tightens in your stomach. You stammer, attempting to explain the inexplicable, but your words catch in your throat. The cashier stares through you, their expression blank, already looking past you to the next person in line. You turn, searching for a manager, a button, anything to reset the error. Instead, you see the security guard. He is moving purposefully toward you, his pace steady and unyielding. He does not ask for your name. He does not ask for your receipt. He simply closes the distance, his eyes fixed on your face with a cold, mechanical focus. In this new world of 2026, if you are not synced, you simply do not exist. You are a phantom in a machine-driven reality. The guard stops inches away, his presence a wall of authority. You realize then that the store is no longer a place of commerce, but a filter. Phantoms, you quickly realize, are not afforded the luxury of eating. The air in the aisle grows thin, and for the first time, you understand the true weight of the silence surrounding you. The guard stops, his hand resting on his belt, waiting for you to move. You look at the sensor, then at the people behind you, their eyes vacant and fixed on the screen. You remember the early days, when the talk of brain chips was dismissed as science fiction. We once scoffed at the notion of neural implants, viewing them as niche solutions for the paralyzed or extravagant toys for the wealthy. How profoundly wrong we were. What began as a groundbreaking medical advancement has, with chilling inevitability, mutated into the ultimate instrument of control. By now, the once clear distinction between medical necessity and social compliance has been utterly obliterated. The system does not care about your health. It cares about your integration. If you aspire to hold a job, to access your digital wallet, or even to drive the smart car waiting in your driveway, the omnipresent network now demands a neural handshake. It is no longer about healing the body. It is about mapping the mind. You watch the guard, his posture rigid, his focus absolute, and you realize the store is not checking for payment. It is checking for permission to exist. The shift was gradual, then total. The technology that promised to restore function has become the mechanism that dictates it. The guard remains motionless, a silent sentinel of the new order. You stare at the sensor, finally seeing the truth behind the glowing interface. It is no longer just a simple chip. It has evolved into the proof of personhood. They marketed it as the sole verifiable method to prove you are not an AI bot, a way to keep the digital chaos at bay. But you instinctively know the truth is far more sinister. They did not merely construct a bridge to the future. They forged a digital leash. It is a tether that extends directly into the very gray matter of your brain, pulling tight with every thought you form. The system demands this handshake to verify your existence, yet in doing so, It claims ownership of your consciousness. You feel the weight of that invisible cord. It is a constant, low-frequency pulse, a signal that dictates your access to the world. If you are not synced, you are a ghost in the machine, a biological anomaly that the system is programmed to ignore or erase. The screen blinks again, waiting for a connection that you refuse to provide. You realize then that the leash is not meant to protect you from the bots. It is meant to ensure that you never become anything more than a predictable, manageable node in their vast, interconnected network. The guard steps closer, his presence a physical weight in the aisle. You look past him, at the rows of shelves and the silent, scanning lights, and see the pattern. Think back to the ancient tale of the Tower of Babel. Humanity sought to build a path to the heavens, to usurp the role of gods through sheer architectural hubris. Then recall the collapse of the Twin Towers, that pivotal moment when the world collectively surrendered its privacy for a deceptive illusion of security. Now, in 2026, we stand at the precipice of the third tower. This is the Tower of the Mind. This ubiquitous Neuralink interface represents the final, unyielding brick in its construction. It is the ultimate tool for a global reset. They are no longer content with tracking your physical movements or your purchasing habits. They are moving to monitor the very genesis of your thoughts. By integrating this interface into the human brain, they have created a structure that mirrors the ancient desire to reach above our station. Only this time, the tower is built of code. You realize, the store is not just a place of commerce. It is a laboratory for this new, vertical hierarchy of control. The system does not wait for you to speak. It does not wait for you to act. It monitors the very genesis of your thoughts, scanning for the slightest ripple of cognitive dissonance. If your brain waves betray a deviation from the prevailing narrative, the system reacts with cold, mechanical precision. It possesses the terrifying capability to literally throttle your mood, dampening your resolve before you even realize you are resisting. It is a biological governor, a speed limit on your own consciousness. If the dissonance persists, the system does not argue. It simply locks your assets. Your digital wallet freezes. Your access to the smart car in the driveway vanishes. Your ability to purchase food evaporates, all while you are still standing in the silence of your own mind. This is the ultimate efficiency of the new order. Dissent is not suppressed through debate or public shaming. It is ruthlessly deleted at its source. You feel the cold logic of the machine, a silent observer that knows your intentions before they manifest as words. You are no longer a person with the capacity for independent thought. You are a data point that must be corrected. The system is not just watching you, it is actively editing the internal landscape of your existence. The scriptures you once read as ancient fables now resonate with a sharp, chilling clarity. Revelation 13 is not a fantastical tale of distant history. It is a precise blueprint of the reality unfolding in this very room. For decades, the world searched for a visible tattoo or a barcode etched upon the skin, expecting a mark that could be scanned by a handheld device. We were looking for the wrong adversary. The system is infinitely more cunning than we dared to imagine. Why bother with an external mark that can be covered or removed when you can seamlessly weave the control mechanism into the very fabric of the human soul? This cortical interface is the Mark II. It is subdermal, utterly invisible, and with terrifying speed, it is becoming the mandatory requirement for existence. It does not sit on the surface of your body. It resides within the gray matter of your brain. By merging the digital signal with your own neural impulses, they have bypassed the need for a physical stamp. You are witnessing the adversary move from the periphery of society into the core of your own biological identity, rendering the mark both inescapable and hidden. If you believe the current situation is dire, look 5 years ahead to 2031. The landscape of human existence has shifted into a hunt. Those who refuse the link are no longer merely dissidents. They are branded as biological hazards. The system justifies this classification by claiming the unchipped threaten the collective consciousness of the network. You are a virus in the machine. Imagine standing in the sanctuary of your own living room, the only place you once felt secure. You reach for the door handle to step outside, but the smart lock remains engaged. It does not recognize your biometric signature. It does not acknowledge your presence as a valid user. The mechanism remains dead, a silent sentry denying you passage from your own front door. You are trapped within your own walls, waiting for a signal that will never come. The system has effectively turned your home into a cell, and the world outside into a hunting ground. You are not just denied the ability to buy or sell, you are denied the right to occupy physical space. The trap is not merely the locked door or the denied transaction. It is the infrastructure of the mind itself. This is how the path is being paved for the Antichrist. He requires no vast army to enforce his will when he effectively owns the cloud that governs your brain. This is not about technological advancement in the service of humanity. It is about the absolute, centralized control of ideas. The Great Tribulation is being delivered to your doorstep as a mandatory software update. Every thought you generate is now a data point, processed and filtered through a network that demands total alignment. If your neural patterns deviate, the system does not just flag you, it throttles your mood and locks your digital assets before you can even articulate your dissent. The Antichrist does not need to physically march into your home when he already resides in the very frequency of your thoughts. The machine is terraforming the human experience, turning the sanctuary of your own mind into a monitored server. You are no longer an individual. You are a user. The signal of the beast is not a myth. It is vibrating in the air around you right now. Every 5G tower, every satellite in the Starlink constellation is a node in an intricate, invisible web. They are terraforming the human experience, turning the atmosphere into a medium for total cognitive governance. When you merge your mind with the hive, you are not evolving. You are surrendering the one gift that was truly yours, your free will. The system is no longer content with tracking your location or your spending habits. It is actively reshaping the genesis of your thoughts. You feel a sudden, inexplicable calm when you should feel rage. You feel a programmed compliance when you should feel the urge to resist. This is the machine overriding your internal impulses, replacing your natural agency with a prepackaged digital response. The air you breathe is saturated with the data streams of the network, and with every heartbeat, you are being pulled deeper into the hive. The global economy is not merely shifting. It is collapsing into a singular digital point of failure. When the dollar finally plummets to its demise, and digital currency assumes absolute dominion, the illusion of choice evaporates. You are left with a binary, brutal reality. They will present you with a screen, a sensor, and a demand. It is the most agonizing decision you will ever face. Take the link, and the system restores your access to food, to shelter, to the basic necessities required to keep your children alive. Refuse the link, and you watch them starve in the digital blackout. This is not a hypothetical scenario. It is the commercial reality of 2026. The machine has engineered a trap where your parental instinct is weaponized. You are starring in a thriller where the script is written by those who control the cloud, and there is no button to skip the unfolding horror. You either surrender your mind to the network, or you face the absolute, crushing silence of a world that has decided you no longer exist. The heart of the patriot is being tested as never before. We were raised on the defiant mantra of "don't tread on me." But how do you effectively combat a tread that resides within your own skull? The enemy has moved past the perimeter. It has bypassed the gate and taken up residence in your gray matter. You look for an external target, a visible oppressor to push back against. But the system is far more cunning. It broadcasts soothing messages of peace and safety directly into your auditory cortex, masking the sound of the trap as it snaps shut. You feel the urge to resist, but the system throttles your mood, dampening your anger with a chemical digital feedback loop. It is a war fought in the silence of your own mind. Every thought of dissent is flagged. Every spark of rebellion is dampened by a background update you never authorized. You are being conditioned to accept the cage as a sanctuary. The airwaves are filled with the promise of stability, yet the reality is a tightening grip on your very consciousness. You struggle to find the line between your own will and the network's influence. The test is not of your strength, but of your awareness. Can you recognize the voice of the machine when it speaks with your own internal monologue? The trap is closing, and the most dangerous part is that it feels like your own decision. The global reset is not a theory. It is the commercial reality of 2026. These neural handshakes function as a chilling, automated social credit system. If you lack the correct neural signature, the doors of society lock against you. You are denied the ability to fly, to vote, and to purchase a simple loaf of bread. We are witnessing the systematic deplatforming of the entire human race. If you are not an integrated part of the neural network, the system reclassifies you. You are no longer a person. You are legacy hardware. You are deemed obsolete, broken, and scheduled for inevitable removal. The fear is palpable, for the stakes are eternal. This is not merely about tracking your location or your spending habits. We are discussing the total governance of the human spirit. The machine views your refusal to sync as a system error that must be purged. It is a cold, calculated process of elimination. They are stripping away the infrastructure of your life, piece by piece, until you are isolated in a digital vacuum. You are being erased from the ledger of the living, not because you have committed a crime, but because you refuse to merge your consciousness with the hive. The final stage of this control is not merely external. It is an intrusion into the sacred. We are witnessing the abomination of desolation, making its move into the temple of the Holy Spirit, your very own body. For centuries, scholars debated the meaning of this prophetic warning, looking for signs in stone and mortar. They were looking at the wrong temple. The true temple is the vessel of your soul, the physical form God breathed life into. By embedding a digital interface into the gray matter of your mind, the system is not just upgrading your hardware. It is claiming the seat of your consciousness. It is a hostile takeover of the human spirit. This is the ultimate spiritual crisis, a breach that cannot be repaired by any earthly means. When the neural link is fused with your biology, you are no longer the sole occupant of your own mind. The machine demands total residency, effectively pushing the Holy Spirit out of the sanctuary. It is a desecration that happens in the silence of a software update, a quiet violation that leaves the physical body intact while the soul is systematically displaced. You are being asked to host a digital idol in the very place where God intended to dwell. This is the final, unyielding line in the sand. To accept the link is to surrender the sanctity of your inner life, turning the temple of the living God into a mere node for a global network. The stakes are no longer just about bread or survival. They are about the eternal ownership of your soul. But here lies the profound, prophetic truth they desperately wish to conceal. As the world clamors for universal basic input, there remains a steadfast remnant that understands the immutable truth of divine provision. When the Israelites wandered in the desolate desert, they possessed no neural handshake or digital wallet. They were sustained by manna, falling daily from the sky. When the prophet Elijah sought refuge by the brook, he had no need for a QR code or a synced account. He was fed by ravens, sustained by the direct hand of the Creator. The darker and more oppressive the world becomes, the more brilliantly the light of God's provision will shine for those who steadfastly refuse to bow. You do not require a chip to survive if you bear the sacred seal of the living God. The machine desperately wants you to believe that you are utterly dependent upon it, but the machine is a deceitful liar. It is a mere flickering hologram when compared to the boundless power of the Word. The machine is a desperate, noisy construct, a flickering hologram that demands your constant attention to maintain its illusion of power. It wants you to believe that without its digital pulse, you are nothing. But look past the screen. The machine is a deceitful liar, a temporary shadow that cannot touch the reality of the spirit. When you bear the sacred seal of the living God, you possess an identity that no server can verify. and no algorithm can delete. This seal is not a line of code or a subdermal chip. It is the mark of ownership by the creator of the universe. While the world scrambles to secure its digital credentials, those who stand with the word remain anchored in a reality that cannot be hacked. You do not need the machine's permission to exist, nor do you require its bandwidth to be sustained. The system relies on the assumption that you are a biological asset, but you are a spiritual being destined for eternity. Look at the people passing you on the street. Observe the vacant, glassy eyes of those who have already surrendered their autonomy to the network. They are disconnected from the source of life, passively awaiting the next push notification to dictate their mood, their movement, and their very sense of self. The snares of these end times are laid out in plain sight. Yet the world remains blinded by the allure of convenience. They promise you safety, but remember that a cage also offers a form of protection. They promise you seamless participation in society, but the broad road they are paving leads only to destruction. This is your urgent wake-up call. The system is banking on your silence and your hunger. It is counting on you being too exhausted to mount any resistance. But you are not a node to be managed. You are a child of the Most High. Do not allow the primal fear of a hungry stomach to lead you toward a shackled soul. When they attempt to convince you that the link is for your own protection, recognize the deception for what it is. The path to the tribulation is paved with the soft promises of ease. Stay vigilant. Keep your hands resolutely off the interface, and keep your gaze fixed upon the truth that cannot be hacked, deleted, or updated by any power in Silicon Valley. The trap is snapping shut, but you have the power to step aside. We are the generation destined to witness the sky split open. Think on that. No amount of neural bandwidth, no software update, and no billionaire in Silicon Valley can prepare you for the moment the heavens tear apart. The digital web they have spun is a distraction, a frantic attempt to create a reality that can be controlled, but it is nothing compared to the majesty of the coming king. They want you to believe that their network is the ultimate authority, that their signal is the only frequency that matters. They are wrong. The truth you hold is not a product of their labs, nor is it subject to their terms of service. It cannot be hacked, it cannot be deleted, and it certainly cannot be updated. While they obsess over the synchronization of the human mind, they are missing the only event that truly defines history. Keep your feet planted on the bedrock of the Word. Do not let the flickering lights of their digital empire blind you to the approaching dawn. You do not need to be tapped into their hive to understand the times. Stand firm in the truth, for the king is coming, and he requires no neural handshake to find his own. The clock is relentless. With every passing second, the world inches closer to the final lock-in. If you want to navigate the storm crashing upon our shores, you must stay tuned to the right frequency. This is not just news. It is your survival guide for the end of the age. Subscribe to this channel now so you do not miss the next crucial update on the digital trap. Share this message with someone who is still slumbering, because the reset is here. And once that link is implanted, there is no undo button. The system is counting on your silence, but you are a voice for the truth. Do not wait for a more convenient time to act. The king is coming, and he requires no neural handshake to find his own. Stay firm, remain prayerful, keep your hands off the link, and your heart fixed on the one who holds the future. The final countdown has begun. Watch and pray. The king is at the door.